Okay, loads of transfer stuff to talk about. I was doing my shows for AFTV today, busy day. And then just sort of out of nowhere, Lokonga gets done, Tavares on the brink, and we're in for another goalkeeper, believe it or not. So lots to cover, lots to talk about. And yeah, just been a busy day. So I thought, let's let the news simmer down. Let's see what happens. Let's see how everything's sort of developing throughout the evening. We can have an evening stream to discuss it all. So welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well. Yeah, hope you're all. Let's get the mic in place. There we go. Hope you're all having a good evening. It's late. It's midnight. Sorry, these won't be a regular feature, right? The midnight streams, but I thought, why not? Like, why not just sort of end the day literally on the dot with taking into account everything that's gone on. And like I said, these live shows are for news, like they are for news, and as and when it happens, they are for breaking news, but big news. And I thought, well, let's end the day by talking about everything that's going on. Apologies for having any Wi-Fi issues. Hopefully, it will all be okay. Any problems, let me know in the chat, and there's not a lot I can do, but I prefer to know, so at least I can apologize for it. But let's see. Hopefully the Wi-Fi holds out. And yeah, lots to talk about, everyone. Lokonga, another goalkeeper potentially in for. Tavares on his way. Merino linked a lot, and I think we should talk about this a little bit. I do have a video coming out on AFTV comparing Eze and Merino. That will be out later this weekend. I think it might be tomorrow or the weekend. So yeah, we'll go and sort of discuss some of those thoughts. And again, to be honest, anything you want to talk about, ask anything. I'm sort of getting used to all this streaming stuff properly. I know I need to get a better camera. But yeah, anyway, hope you're all well. Let's go straight into the comments. A few names that I definitely recognize, and I want to say a big hello to them all. Max, the guy who makes this channel run. Legend, everyone. Show some love for Max. Forder on football. Here he is. We had him on the Goonerverse podcast. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. But more importantly, go subscribe to Alex Forder on football. He is doing some amazing content. Jack, this is the legend behind the DR Sports socials, giving you all the best clips and moments and everything. Keep you up to date with all the news in football. Go and show some love to Jack. And I think, yeah, there he is. We all know him. The different knock. Alex, hope you're good as well. Here we go. Oh, I love this. Am says the only creator actually on time. I'm going to take some pride in that. I will try and always be on time when it comes to these. Connor, hope you're well. Good to see you, Emmanuel. How you doing? Smokey, I'm all good. I'm all good. Spent my evening chilling, watching. Do you know what? Because House of the Dragon's out. I'm rewatching. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones because I've just kind of caught the bug a little bit. So yeah, there we go. I spent my evening doing that and making a chili con carne. So there we go. Hope you're all well. Let me know what you're all up to with your evening. This is much more of a laid back kind of stream. I'm just sort of going with the flow a little bit. And yeah, I'm not diving straight into the news. I think previous live streams, I've just sort of flown straight into it. And it's probably like, all right, it's a stream. We're going to take our time with it all. Hey, Rice, Hand of Urzil. How you doing, man? This guy knows his stuff, is all I'll say. All right, everyone. Cool. The news. And there was a lot of it. So let's go. Shout out Babs. Yeah, I've got a shout out Babs. Sorry. Absolute legend. Cool. All right. Send your comments in. Send your questions if you want or don't. Thank you to everyone who's here at midnight. Fair play. And let's go through all the news now that I've waffled on long enough to set the stage and tell you what you need to know. And it starts with this. I think this is the big news of the evening. Only 3 hours ago, Fabrizio. By the way, he has tweeted at some mental times before because I don't know if that man ever sleeps. Albert Sambi Lokonga to Sevilla. Here we go. And we know when he says here we go, he ain't going back on that. He means it. Deal in place with Arsenal on loan move for the midfielder. Sevilla will cover his salary of 12 million with 12 million euros buy option clause, also including the deal. Medical already booked. He's going to Sevilla, people. What should we tackle first? Should we tackle the Sevilla angle or shall we tackle the Arsenal angle? Because I have a few mixed feelings about this, if I'm honest. I want to just caveat before I go into my kind of thoughts, because I'm going to be a little bit critical of this deal. I just want to say that ultimately if the players we want to leave, and the players that we want to come in that are going to make us better come in, then I'm a happy man. Like I'm not going to complain too much because the squad is in a better place. It's not my money. I'll trust the club to do everything in the best way possible, as much as they can. However, I've been longing for Arsenal to be a little bit better in the sales front of the market, to show a little bit more value for our players when it comes to the sales. And I think we've fallen short a few times in recent years. The contracts being cut, I could kind of understand to a point, but certainly in the last year or two, I think we could have been a bit better on that front. Lokonga going, I mean, let's just show you it one more time. Lokonga going on loan in the first place, so it's not a permanent deal, but also there's an option to buy. You really want that to be an obligation like the Tavares deal, but also for just 12 million euros for 10 million. We spent about 20 to 22 million on him, I think, to bring him to the Emirates in the summer of 2021. I think he's better than a 10 million pound midfielder, people. I do. I think he's good age, 24, 25 maybe, played for 3 Premier League clubs. I think he's always looked accomplished at Premier League level. I think he's always looked, good enough at Premier League level, just not good enough for where Arsenal want to be in particular. But I don't think this is a bad player. I don't think this is a player who lacks potential, who, can play as an 8, can play as a 6, is comfortable in possession. I know that we kind of look at it through the eyes of an Arsenal fan, right? We look at it as, well, he wasn't good enough for us, so we want him gone. So clubs aren't going to, pay that much for him. But I think he was a Premier League player at Luton who I think did well. Palace, okay, was in and out and didn't really sort of do too much. But I think he looked perfectly accomplished at Luton, playing in the Premier League. He looked good in a side that really a lot of people thought were going to go down, but he was part of a midfield with him and Barkley that actually gave them a shot at staying up in the first place. And, we're only recouping 10 million for him. And you know what? I could maybe stomach the 10 million if it was like a done deal. Well, we're definitely getting 10, but it's a maybe 10 million. He's going and we might get 10 million if Sevilla like him. I don't love the deal. I think we've sold ourselves short here. Whereas on the Tavares stuff, which we talked about in our latest stream, I think that was quite a good bit of business. We've made our money back and it's a loan with an obligation to Lazio. I thought fair enough. I think we've sold ourselves short a little bit on this one, if I'm really honest. I think he could have gone for a bit more. But again, if I'm being really realistic, probably no more than 15 million. And at that point, you're going, okay, well, if you're saying no more than 15 million, well, you're getting 10 million and it's an option to buy, but they're probably going to trigger the option to buy. So what's the problem? And then I have no good answer for you. So I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. And we'll talk about the player as well in a sec, a little bit. But I'd love to know, have we sold ourselves short a little bit? Let's see what you're all saying. Okay. If he does really well, we can sell him for more. Tony, I respectfully disagree because I don't know if this is facts what I'm about to say, but if he does really well, they'll just activate the the option to buy, and they'll get him for 10 million. So if he does really well, they'll want to keep him for that price. Ornstein's report says that Fiorentina wanted to pay more, but Lokonga only wanted Sevilla, which makes it hard for us to sell for more. Sure, but you can maybe. I mean, again, I always say I don't know how these transfers work, but I imagine that you can say, sorry, there's other buyers who are offering this much, so we're not going to accept your offer unless you meet that. But maybe Arsenal, it's the 12th of July. Like, the season ended almost 2 months ago. It ended, what was the last game? The 18th, 19th May, something like that. It ended up, we're coming up to 2 months since the end of the season. They need to get some players out, and they're probably thinking that. We are 10 days away from Arsenal flying off on their tour. So maybe there's just a little bit of pressure, and they've been trying to get a better deal all this time, and they haven't been able to. We need to be a better selling club. I think so too. Forder, you talking about Lokonga here? Good, but not great on progressive carries. I'll take your word for it. What else have we got? Thank you very much to everyone, by the way, for just supporting the channel, sending some nice words. I really, really appreciate that. There was, I think David Ornstein also said in his Lokonga report, let's see if I can find it. I should have it here. Yeah, I do. Let's share it. Look how prepared I am. Arsenal have a 25% sell-on clause in the Sevilla deal for Lokonga, but only applies if the deal turns permanent. So 25%. So basically, I think what we're hoping for here is He does really well for Sevilla. They spend the 10 million on him, and another club buys him for 40 million. Not going to happen. Well, maybe, but maybe they spend 40 million on him, and we get another 10 from that. Maybe then you've made your money back, but yeah, it doesn't feel too likely. So there we go. Lokonga, on Lokonga the player for a second, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm Lokonga's biggest fan, but I was on record on AFTV as saying that he was one of our best young talents at the club, and that was very early, and I got it horribly wrong. And I don't need to tell you that and just save myself the embarrassment, but I did say it. You know, I don't mind admitting I got things wrong. And I thought when he first came in, he was playing alongside Xhaka a little bit, and he was just getting minutes here and there. I thought he looked a really good, exciting young player. If I'm really honest, I don't know if Arteta. I think Arteta misprofiled him a little bit as a 6. I don't think he was a 6. I think he was always an 8. I think he always looked like he had a little bit of something to give in the final third. He had a dribble on him. He had a burst away from players. He could do something, draw a foul. I think as a 6, he was a touch wasted, though I could see the elements where you think, well, we could build on that 6 foot young midfielder, good on the ball. But yeah, he was just never quite at the level. And I think when he came out of the team, he struggled. And he really struggled to work his way back in. We've seen that with a few players that come to Arsenal. They're kind of playing a lot of football at first, and then they're out the side, and they never really discover that form that you saw in the first 3-4 months of them arriving at the club. And ultimately, that's just not good enough. You've got to be able to rediscover it, and he didn't. We saw in the All or Nothing doc, you know, Eddie gets a lot of stick, but credit to him, he has like the absolute right mentality of keep going, keep fighting, keep working for your place. And we saw that he said to Lokonga, like, look, you know, what are you complaining about? You know, he's what did he say? He used to smile more, and he said, I was playing. He was like, yeah, so what? We're all in that position. And I think that is definitely something that I think Lokonga maybe struggled with was coming out the team. But look, I think he did well on his loan spells, especially the Luton one, and he's now got to move to Sevilla. So look, Sevilla are a good club that have come in for him. So clearly a talented player there, but it didn't work for him at Arsenal. Jack saying the FA Cup game versus City was the final straw for me. Could see how frustrated Odegaard was with him as a lone 6. It did feel like there wasn't a punchiness to his passes. It was like Odegaard was there and he was used to Partey just giving the ball to him, and Lokonga hesitated. That's why I didn't think he was a 6 that would dictate games for us. I thought he was an 8 that, you know, I know it was only one goal, but when we beat Chelsea 4-0 in Orlando, I was at that game, and he came on and he played left 8 and he bombed forward as the ball came into the box. I think it was Cedric who whipped it into the box, and it was a really good header. And I thought, there we go. There's a bit of box crashing there. He's got a little bit of everything. Can we just see if he can grow into that? But he couldn't. So there we go. Lokonga's left. But yeah, is what it is. Didn't work out for him. All right, everyone. I'm seeing some of your comments. I'll try to take some. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Connor, sorry. I honestly didn't see your comment before I talked about this game. But yeah, other people saw him in the 8 and thought, wow, okay, fair enough. It wasn't just then, you know, he looked good in the do you remember that Dubai Cup when we won the treble, the Emirates Cup, the Dubai Cup, and the Orlando Cup or something? We played those Dubai games coming back from the World Cup and getting ready for the return of football. And he looked good in those friendlies too, but it just never translated. And that City game in the FA Cup, as Jack mentioned, was really the final straw. Right, okay. That was the first bit of news. Then there was this. Out of nowhere, Fabrizio with an exclusive. Here we go. Arsenal submitted their first proposal to Ajax for 18-year-old goalkeeper Tommy Setford. Negotiations ongoing. Ajax sources see Setford as a big talent, but current deal expires in a year. England under 20 goalkeeper is keen on the move. Now, my first reaction to this news was, I'll sign him on Football Manager. Great, let's do it. It's quite good when I had him on Football Manager, whatever that means. But that turned out to be his brother Charlie. Are they brothers? Can you confirm in the chat if they're brothers? I'm not 100% sure. I think they must be. Both called Setford and in the Ajax Academy. Look, it could be a coincidence. So, by the way, do you know what I didn't do? I didn't give credit to the first person. Here we go. Sorry, the Lokonga news came from this guy first to post about it, Massimo de la Cruz Ramirez. So yeah, fair play. Sorry. Anyway, back to it. Just credit where it's due. If you're the first to it, and I always want to give credit. I did that on the last stream as well. To Alfredo Padula, I think. It's always Ornstein and Romano. They get the credit with these things. Fair enough, but yeah. Anyway, back to it. So back to Setford. I know nothing. I know nothing about this guy other than I've signed him on Football Manager, as DJ064 says. Setford to be third choice, great on Football Manager. Now, I don't think this is a. I don't think this is a football. About to say Football Manager signing. I don't think this is a third choice goalkeeper signing. I think this is a. Excuse me. Hiccuping. I think this is a. For the academy, go play there for a year, then go out on loan, then I maybe have a couple, and then work their way up, and then when they're 21, sorry, this is good from Tim. You know nothing, James. No, very good. Like I said, I'm watching Game of Thrones as we speak. I think this is a get them in the academy, set him on a few loans, and hopefully he's like a top goalkeeper at the age of 21, 22 or something. For what it's worth, Football Manager rates him higher than his brother Charlie, but what do I know? He's 6'1", as Am says. I don't think he's the academy. You can be praising of the Nwaneri, Saka, and other players thing. You can be critical of the fact that we haven't made as much money as we should have from the likes of Raw Walters, Kozia Dubry. I think there's one thing I put in the criticism category. It's these. The academy hasn't produced a very good goalkeeper for a while. Chesney, the last. Emi Martinez was signed at like 15, 16. So that would, I mean, he's coming in at 18, right? So that would be sort of comparable. So yeah, we haven't really done much on that front for a while. And goalkeepers also peak at like 24, 25 through to 35. There's a lot of time with this one. I think this is a deal we might do just to, get some quality. He's not the first one. We added that other goalkeeper, the academy one, Nygaard, I think his name is. He's coming in to be a part of the academy. He was announced by the Arsenal Academy, 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, I think we're just trying to get some quality in there, with one of them maybe staying to the academy goalkeeper and the other going on loan. If we bring this guy in, which is very possible. The different knock. He's here to feed the Arteta goalkeeper machine. He has to change every year. It's a sickness. It is. It's exactly how I described it. It is. We must sign goalkeepers, and Iñaki Kanya must have worked with them before. There is someone who retired 5 years ago that once worked with Iñaki Kanya. He's got his phone at the ready just in case he gets the call. I mean, I also have to agree with this. Inverted goalkeepers are the future. Mikel has the vision. I mean, maybe we need all these goalkeepers for the next tactical evolution. Who knows? This is a good question, which of course I lost it because I just flew past it. Here we go. Tassau asking, is he better than Karl Hein? I know nothing of him. He's highly rated on Football Manager. That's all I can really tell you. But on the topic of Football Manager, I want to show you this. Here we go. Tomorrow, coming out on the channel, but providing there's no errors, we will be doing a Football Manager breakdown on Calafiori, something different to what you've seen from what I've done on AFTV. A lot of other brilliant breakdowns and bits of analysis on the player, the different knock in particular. Fantastic breakdown. Go check that out. This is going to be comparing his Football Manager, or let's say how Football Manager ranks his data compared to William Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Kivior, Zinchenko, Timber, and more. I want to see how he compares to Arsenal defenders. And you might be thinking, why on earth would you be doing this, James? Is Football Manager a video game? Why do you care? Because I'm telling you, people. I've removed myself. How do I remove? There we go. It's the first time doing that, and I've managed to leave it on stream too long. Why am I doing this? Because Football Manager's data, it's incredibly accurate. They're very well researched. Football Manager is used by clubs, I've heard. It's a good source for having a good idea for the strengths and weaknesses of a player and what you can expect. And I thought it'd be really interesting to see how from this last 6 months, or from 6 months ago, should I say, Football Manager rates Calafiori's data to compare to others, not data, how it rates his attributes and his skill set compared to others in the Arsenal squad. Something different. Of course, we'll look at some other data around the player as well, some actual factual stuff. But I just thought it'd be a good way to do something different around the player where we can get some real kind of numbers that have been put together by scouts. Like Football Manager is not just someone just at a desk, just typing away, just going, oh, I'll give him a 14 out of 20 for passing. These are scouts that have really, really vast knowledge, that it's a really in-depth database, and they do a fantastic job. I always tell people, Erling Haaland, I knew of him 2 years before he became mainstream. I'm deadly serious because of that game. So yeah, I really, really encourage you all to go watch that video tomorrow if you're interested in that kind of thing. I think it will tell us some stuff. Football Manager is a good source, not going to lie. GL block, I totally agree. When's the Football Manager playthrough coming? We'll get there. We'll get there. I still need to build a new studio setup, move into that properly. Get some more stuff. But I'm really just like dipping my toe into this streaming stuff. The last streams have been on the cusp of some news. This I thought I'd do at a time where, we just let the news simmer down for the day. And we'll probably have more of these in future, if I'm honest. More, let's just kind of get together, get your thoughts, do a stream. Very chill, not in a rush. Let everything just sort of calm down on the news front and then go live and talk about everything. So, there we go, everyone. Okay, back to the news. What else have we got? Let me just have a quick look what else I had saved. Well, there's this. Lazio are advancing well in talks with Nuno Tavares' camp to agree personal terms. Agreement with Arsenal sealed, €9 million fee, loan with obligation to buy with sell-on clause also included. Positive contacts on salary with player side still waiting to get the deal done. Look, we're making our money back. €9 million again. We're making about 7 million. I mean, that's what we paid for him. So fine. He came in at a time where we couldn't attract the best players. We had to be a little bit creative and maybe have a gamble a little bit for 7 million. He came in, didn't do great, did some things. I keep saying he's ended up with a CV of Benfica, Arsenal, Marseille, Nottingham Forest, and Lazio. Like, clearly people think there's a talent there. So he's on his way. We're making our money back. Everyone's a winner. Fine. No problems there whatsoever on my end. Just wanted to see if there's anything else that I saved that we haven't talked about. Not that I've saved. So just the other stuff that's sort of doing the rounds as we approach the last sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes of the stream. Mikel Merino. Links are pretty relentless on that front. And when I say relentless, not from major journalists. I mean, actually, I think The Athletic said that they're keeping an eye on Merino, that he is a top target of Arteta. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. He feels like Xhaka 2.0. And I know that can feel quite lazy, like when people say Calafiori is the left-footed white. There are differences. They will do things differently. But I think in the way we use him, it's incredibly comparable. I think Merino would be so similar to Granit Xhaka in the way we'd use him. Alongside Rice as a double pivot, probably expected to be a little bit more in build-up. You get your box midfield from Ødegaard, Havertz, Rice and Merino. That means your fullbacks can still stay wide and we can do what we've been doing throughout 2024. But if you go watch comps of him, and I've seen a little bit of him as well, you see when he moves into that fifth lane for Sociedad, or maybe not a fifth lane for Sociedad, but when he moves into that channel that's created by the winger being on the touchline, he loves that underlap too. He's able to make that run and get balls into the box in the way Granit Xhaka did a lot of his final season at Arsenal. And then you got the opportunity of getting something out of Zinchenko again. People have really written off Zinchenko, but his first season was so good, so transformative for us. I think if you add that right eight, you get him playing again. So I think it could be a massive sign to get a player like Merino in, and a player of that profile, but also that quality and experience, because he comes in as a 28-year-old who's played Champions League football, who has played international football high level. He's in a final this weekend, probably not starting, but might well come on. Who played in Newcastle in the Premier League, so he's moved around and has won trophies as well with Sociedad. So I'm really in favor of this deal. I really am. I put a poll up asking, is it Merino or Eze for people? And the reality is that they would take up different spots in the squad, but I don't see Arsenal going for both. Marino feels like the best balance for our squad. Eze feels like the more exciting moments player. Now, Jack, if I can find your comment, Jack, apologies. Here we go. Jack asked a good 20 minutes ago, what do you think of the talk of Arsenal's need for a moments player? For me, for me, I think we do need a player that provides moments. I think we do need a player when you go watch Eze's goals from the last season, left foot, right foot, outside of the box, dribbling into the box, whatever it might be. Yeah, unreal what he did in terms of just a variety of goals, moments out of nothing for Palace, and just having moments that I think Arsenal, when they're playing a low block or they're not quite in their rhythm, because you're not going to be perfect all 38 games, I could see a player like Eze winning us the game. And I think we need both. Saeed, James streaming later than me. Saeed, I'm learning from the best, man. I'm learning from the best. By the way, see you in LA. Yeah, what can I do? Just something different. I'm quite awake. I thought, let's do it. Josh says this. Turkish said on AFTV that Eze is more of a rotational player than Merino. I don't get why that makes him not the better option. Eze can play 8, so play him 8. Versatility is a bonus. Yeah, I see what he's saying, because if you do get an 8 and you add Eze, there's no guarantee Eze starts. But I think Eze, with our current options, if you just added Eze and no one else, I think Eze would be a starter. That's probably the 8. I think Arteta would persist with that. It's like I said in the video that came out yesterday, where I asked, is Eze a upgrade on Smith Rowe? Again, Arteta, he tucked in Timber and Zinchenko on the final day of the season to get Smith Rowe and Odegaard on the 10 spaces. How is Eze not perfect for that left 8 space? So, yeah, I think there's a chance you pursue him maybe for that role. And if you do, then do you get another wide player forward? I don't know. Lots of questions. Arsenal keeping everything very, very close to their chest. Look at that. We'll see you there, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, Nishan's asking, can he play left 8? I think he can, but I worry about us out of possession in that sense. I think we'd have to tweak the shape when it comes to our press, our build up, the 4-4-2 shape, out of possession, all that, which I'd be interested to see. Final thing to talk about. Dan Potts. Hey, look, everyone's here at midnight. Look at you all. Also, why are you all up? Go to bed. It's late. No, I love you all. Go subscribe to Dan Potts and Saeed and everyone I mentioned. The different knock. You're all fantastic. Forward on football, mate. Thank you so much for all. Just for all tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Something different. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. I'm up at this time normally anyway. So Chidobe Martin, lots of rumors, and I don't know how official these reports are, but rumors that he may be staying. So that's good news on the Arsenal front, because he scores like 6-7 goals a game, and you don't really want to lose a player like that. So please sign him. Please sign him up. I mean, basically, the issue is that we can't offer him a professional contract for another year, buying another clubs can abroad. But I don't know if that will be everything. Apparently, some rumors that Arteta basically had a one-on-one conversation with him. I don't know how true that is. But if he did, like, that's just telling you how much he rates the player. But I imagine he'll want some guarantee of first team minutes and a route to the first team. I think when you see what Lamine Yamal's doing, and he is like generational talent, it's looking like, right? Like 16-year-olds are probably not thinking I should be starting for Arsenal next season, but they're thinking I want to know that in the next year or two I could be, because they'll rate themselves, they rate their talent. So yeah, let's see what happens there. We're into the last minute 30 seconds, everyone. So we're going to round up there. I've touched on all the news and everything from today. I won't drag it on too long for you all. You've all got things to do, I imagine. But thank you for all tuning in. The only thing I didn't say about Setford, apparently he's quite good with the ball at his feet, and it's going to be quite a progressive modern goalkeeper, I think. That's what Football Manager tells me. So let's see, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this. And just a reminder to all, let's hope I don't butcher this like I did the first time. A reminder to you all that this is the video I'll be dropping tomorrow, looking at how Calafiori ranks in terms of his Football Manager data, how much the scouts on Football Manager rating his particular attributes, rate him compared to Arsenal players. I really want to see what his passing, composure, dribbling, what all those things are like for Calafiori compared to the likes of Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, and others in the squad, to see if Football Manager rates who we're bringing in and the attributes he has and what he'll bring to this Arsenal team. Because I think it's a resourceful manager that's a little bit overlooked because it's a video game and people just go, yeah, who cares? It's a video game, so what? But there's real, like, there's something to it. Like it's databases, something to at least know of. And then you go watch everything, you read the stats, then you come up with a a conclusion, everyone. Big thank you. Now, there was a super chat. Let me not leave that out. Suj says, finally caught James live. Hit the subscribe and like, people. Thank you so much. What a way to round off the show. I really, really appreciate it. Looks like the internet held up, everyone. Love to you all. I really, really appreciate it. By the way, Nathan, sorry, let me just jump in this. Attributes on FM barely get updated each year. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think they update it every 6 months, but anyway, I might be wrong. Everyone, big thank you. Really appreciate you tuning in. And video out tomorrow. And any news, we'll do a live show talking about it on this channel. Thanks very much. See you in a bit.